Hello, Internet, and welcome to a special edition of the Rough Drafts Competes Journey of Wrestling League. I am joined today by Eduardo, the head of the Campeonato de Luchasaur. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing all right. I see we have minus 19 exciting matches to go. So it's going to be a fun one.
Yes, it turns
I
out...
don't know how we do minus 19 matches in one night, though. That's going to be wild.
Well, so here's the thing. The cap is 9, so you have minus 19 left, which tells our fans here that 28 matches are about to take place. Because this is the second tournament of our Rough Drafts Competes competition. It turns out when your title holder, Kyle Cage, goes down for 7 to 11 months with a torn quad on a fluke injury, someone needs to take over the Nova Championship belt. So tell me, Eduardo, what brought on the idea to make this a tournament? And what can people expect from the new
I just thought
Omnissiah, Valiant,
the Nova title was just too cool to have just a standalone match. So it's going to be a tournament, of course. Also, I've been wanting to do a tournament since forever, since you tossed the idea at me. So this is the chance, It's all coming together.
It is indeed all coming together. We've got 28 matches ahead of us, folks. This is a 32-person round or bracket stage, I should say. And it is important to say person because this is intergender. Anyone could take this Nova Championship belt. And I am very excited to see who indeed is going to take it home. Shall we jump right in?
Yeah, just for the record, if the stats are correct on my end, no woman has ever held the Nova title, so that would be a sight to be seen.
That is absolutely correct.
It's called the new Omnissiah Valiant Ascendance, and we're going to see who's going to become the new Omnissiah.
Yeah, can you explain to the folks at home what that means? Because I certainly understand, but I'm sure someone might not.
Yeah, that's just what the acronym Nova has been an acronym all this time. So if anyone wonders what that was, what Nova meant, it means New Omnissiah Valiant Ascendance. So I hope that clears up the confusing part, which was the Nova title.
Yes, and now it all comes together. Well, we start here. Ishikami versus Haley. Now, this was seeded by popularity, and you did not make any changes, unlike Walter. Your metrics and the game's metrics 1-to-1. So I have to ask, what would Ishikami need to do to take down a lunatic former greatest champion in Haley?
Honestly, it's going to be short of a miracle. Don't get me wrong, I love Ishikami. It's just Haley's at literally her peak. She's just become the greatest. She now no longer holds the title, but that doesn't mean she's gotten any worse, So yeah, that's going to be the match.
And am I clicking on that Haley button, or is this the upset of all upsets?
No, it's going to be the Haley button.
There we go.
As it's going to be a common side, I think.
I, for one, I'm very curious here because you and I have not talked about what is what your plans are for this. I am learning the results of these matches at the same time as y'all are watching this video. And I don't know how many times that Eduardo's going to tell me to hit that simulate button. For all I know, there could be some shenanigans afoot. But I totally agree. Ooh. Haley needs to win this one.
You know what? I had forgotten there's going to be a simulate button. So that will make a lot of matches easier.
It sure does. But we go now to Kanade Yoshiwara, one of the two members of the Hiroshima Hotties with El Arcangel de Fuego in his corner, versus Nightmare Blue, the ruler of the Sapphire Kingdom, who's had some big wins recently. Who do you think has the edge in this one?
Honestly, I think these two contestants cannot be closer. Both are specialized in different things. Kind of Yoshiwara specializes in doubles, and Nightmare Blue has more 1v1. He's a 1v1 specialist, but yeah, outside of that, both are fantastic wrestlers, and we're gonna take this opportunity to make the first simulate button of the night.
Well, there we go. RNGesus take the wheel. Kanade Yoshiwara gets the win. The Hiroshima Hotties getting on the board early in this tournament. It's a tough loss for Nightmare Blue, but honestly, he's been doing so well in his individual feuds. I'm sure he will go on to do some fun things moving forward.
Also, fun fact, since we were talking about the Nova Championship, did you know it's also like a reference to the first championship holder of this match, Conrad Supernova?
Oh, that makes sense. I mean, look, Conrad Supernova obviously known more today for his Toki Championship reign, but it makes sense given how good Eclipse has been that he would get some say
Yeah.
in the naming here.
Also, yeah, he was the original Omnissiah. In case anyone wonders, wait, this is like the new Omnissiah? The original was him.
Well, this is all very good lore that I will be writing down into my notes when I make an RPG setting based on this league in the near future. But we move on for now. And you know, it's fun, right? There aren't a lot of feuds necessarily in this because there were simply too many matches to prep for with your bank account where it was. I'll be curious to see if any new feuds emerge from this in the aftermath. But this is a great pairing between Razor Jackson and Jordan Amir. Razor Jackson, of course, being one of those guys, he's won a lot of big matches, but he has had to fight and claw his way to every percentage point he has. He started a lot lower on the card and is now just on the cusp of main eventerhood. Whereas Jordan Amir, on his way to becoming a face of the company, the Phantom Executionist, has had some massive wins, but he's lost a couple matches recently. Who do you think should have the edge in this match? Before you tell me who wins.
Obviously, Jordan Amir should have the edge. Like, he's been on a roll. He's on a way to face the company, and he should be... he's more experienced in this kind of, like, 1v1 elimination matches. Razor Jackson is more of a, like, street fight specialist, and this is not a street fight, unfortunately.
That's fair. His risk-taking may not be as strong here. Does that mean I am clicking the Jordan Amir button?
No, that means we're clicking the simulate button. Let's see what happens.
Jordan Amir proving that simulate was the right choice. A nice 4 3/4 star match. Not a lot of holy shit moments, which we should expect given that these matches are not gimmicked. And as an entertainment company, you don't necessarily get the bonus that someone like Walter and the Stanford Wrestling Alliance gets for non-gimmicked matches in pure companies. But these are some high-scoring matches, and I have to imagine that a strong score in the card with just a couple holy shit moments along the way would do a lot towards recuperating the costs of this tournament. So.
I mean, as far as we are, I'm on route to winning the weekly, so...
Yeah, we never quite figured out how tournaments factor into this kind of thing. Well, I don't know, maybe Season 2 we'll talk about it a little more. But we move on now. Jason Styles versus Liam Draco. What do you think fans should be looking for in this match? Because both of these wrestlers have had their ups and downs during their time in this company.
Jason Styles is part of like the revamped Carnival of Carnage. That faction was kind of like a bit into dumps during the first half of the year, but then like it picked up momentum based on the current title holders, the Psycho Circus, and also Jason Styles has been picking some. He did pick some momentum and some popularity, but also like Liam Draco is like the fighter, you know. He's the face. He's almost died and wins and losses, and he has 1,000 popularity.
And the king of battle royales, right? He has won multiple battle royales in this competition. One of the few wrestlers.
The only wrestler. Yeah, the only wrestler in my company to have won multiple battle royales, as a matter of fact.
Absolutely. I mean, certainly the only in yours, and I think might be the only across the board. Which button am I clicking here?
We're gonna simulate this one.
And Liam Draco gets the win. It's a big match for Jason Styles, right? It's a hot match. Starts a feud between these two, which I like to see. Jason Styles
nice.
Clearly benefiting from wrestling against an opponent as good as Liam Draco. But just as important, right? Liam Draco getting a win pushes him over that 1,000 threshold. If he can maintain it at the pay-per-view, that is a guy who can become a face of the company. He can start that journey this month. So I'm sure those points will go a long way on that front. But we move on now. XT Gun, Gabriel Rivera. Now, Gabriel Rivera lost his belt recently, if I recall correctly. XT Gun, one of those young wrestlers hungry to prove himself. What do you think fans should be watching for in this match?
Honestly, I think this is going to be like a match to be seen. Like, a lot of people sleep on XT Gun just because he was like on a bit of a down, but he's a fantastic wrestler. And Gabriel Rivera will have to put triple T effort. He's already like on his way to be a face of the company. But he's also been on quite of a downturn since he lost the championship. So
yes, that Campeonato on 2 belt certainly hurts to lose. But does he get the win tonight, or does XT Gun pull off an upset?
we're gonna pull the upset. We're gonna give the XT Gun to win.
XT Gun with a massive victory here. It's a 4-star match. XT Gun with a bit of overness. More importantly, getting into main eventer status. And while Gabriel Rivera loses a little bit of overness, luckily he had plenty to spare. I think losing to someone like XT Gun, who wasn't a main eventer yet, can be a little bit tough. But he doesn't lose too much popularity. He has plenty of time to boost himself back up. I think giving XT Gun the nod, getting him in that main event status is going to go a long way for his future. And what a night for him. I mean, even if he doesn't make it after the second round, he will have made a statement tonight as the 29 seed upsets the 4 seed in the new Omnissiah Valiant Ascendance tournament. First big upset of the night, folks.
XT Gun didn't make it through the first qualifiers. He got like on the second seeded. So even a bigger reason that why this is an upset.
Absolutely. But we move on now to a bit of a closer match. Another one that's going to start a feud here. Ed Thompson, the Cowboy, who was trying to challenge Amatrador Anderson for his championship spot for quite a while, versus Daiwick Damerla, the man who has been trying to make a name for himself. A lot of feuds that he came just short of winning, but has always put on banger matches. Who do you think should have the edge in this match?
Well, these are both very established wrestlers, but I think Daiwick Damerla has been having a bit of a better time in these 1v1s, even though Thompson has been saying successful feuds in the past. So I will give the edge to Daiwick Damerla just because he has this support of Tigre de Neon.
It certainly helps to have a guy like El Tigre de Neon and the School of the Crab in your corner. Am I hitting the Daiwick button, or is this up to chance tonight?
It's going to be up to chance. Let's simulate it.
Okay. It is Ed Thompson pulling off the upset, starting this feud with a banger. The 20 seed here. This side of the bracket's getting real interesting real quick. Like, I like Daiwick, but he has been known to drop matches like this in the past. And Ed Thompson, the Cowboy, making himself felt tonight. But we move on. This is another one of those big names here. Kelly Torres, the Tower, a former champion, Campeonato Cuyan champion, now going up against Lionel Looney, a man who had a brief surge of greatness but has lost 8 matches in a row. Is it possible for Lionel Looney to stop his slide tonight against a powerful female wrestler like Kelly Torres?
Ooh, you know what? This will be like a very interesting upset if that were to happen. I have no idea what will happen though because we were gonna simulate it.
Okay. RNGesus take the wheel. Kelly Torres takes care of business. She is not to be stopped here tonight. A 3.5-star match, which makes sense. I think these are probably 2 of the more outsized competitors here.
Yeah.
You've had some good roles elsewhere, but a nice win for her. She continues to push herself forward, and as a face of the company, that's how you take care of business. I'm sure she'll be giving Gabriel Rivera a bit of a side eye when they get backstage, but we move on. Vincent Gabriel, Jason Cortez. We know what Jason Cortez is capable of. We know how much La Sagrada Familia needs a win here after a tough month of the last pay-per-view. But Vincent Gabriel from the Corazones de Lucha has also put on some great matches, even if his singles competitive record doesn't reflect that. What should fans be looking for in this match?
A lot of off-the-top rope action, especially with Vincent Gabriel. He's very acrobatic, and Jason Cortez will go for more of a strong style. Like more direct approach. So yeah, it's gonna be lit.
Okay, who's getting the win?
We're gonna simulate this one as well. We're gonna see what happens.
Jason Cortez with the W. That's a 5-star match, your highest scoring match of the night so far. No holy shit moment, but that's okay. You'll love to see the School of the Phoenix getting a win here. Vincent Gabriel, he's going to be just fine. The Corazones de Lucha, I'm sure, have some plans coming their way at the next pay-per-view, and we will see how far Jason can go. Kelly Torres is going to be quite the opponent next round, but as long as you're simulating some of these matches, anything is possible. We move on now. One of my favorite stories, Requiem Avilo, has been getting revenge against the man who dropped him down this card. But now he goes up against Brady Velasquez. The question is, can he translate the tactics that have given him an edge over Adriano Cicelli against a guy with El Arcangel de Fuego and the School of the Phoenix in his corner?
You know what? It's time for Requiem Avilo to show that he's been deserving of this spot all this time. He's gonna take Brady Velasquez down.
He's getting the clean win. Requiem Avilo, 4 1/4 star. That is 3 wins in 4 matches for a guy that at one point was 0-10 in this competition. A huge win for the 22 seed here tonight. Brady, of course, you know, he's going to have to regroup. He's lost a couple matches. He is falling a little bit in the card. At one point, it looked like he could be a face of the company, but the Dawn of Lucha Libre has to take a step back, figure out what's going wrong, and get with his mentor, hopefully bounce back at the pay-per-view. We move on to a big one here. This is Chakal Pro, the best lucha wrestler by his own rating in the Campeonato de Luchasaur, a huge part of La Sagrada Familia's recent run of successes. But he is up against the self-proclaimed Emperor Christopher Knox, which I don't know if you heard the last episode, Eduardo, but Johnny Hangtime and the Glory of Legends promotion had a lot of feelings about Christopher Knox claiming himself to be an emperor here. Do you think that the self-proclaimed emperor has a lot more to show against a talent as good as Chakal Pro?
You know what? I think he does, honestly. I think this is Christopher Knox's time to shine and show that maybe an emperor can get very far.
Wow, it's a Christopher Knox W. Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be one.
A big win here. And this is what we love to see, right? It's so easy. There are so many people in this company, in any company, right, who look at losing a match like this to someone who's not even a main eventer yet and would take that as a negative. But Chakal Pro, he is an absolute pro. He gets morale boost from this. He gets a popularity increase from this because he knows how good Christopher Knox actually is. I think this guy is criminally slept on, and I am so glad he is making himself known tonight. The 27 seed, the second biggest upset of the tournament. Well done to the self-proclaimed emperor.
That's not a shit moment, though. I thought that one deserved one.
I thought so too. I gotta be honest. I think because you are an entertainment company, holy shit moments are going to be few and far between without a gimmick attached to the matches. That was always the risk reward you were going to be playing with, right? Make them all pole matches and suddenly it's an incredibly expensive tournament that you were taking a massive risk on. Make none of them gimmick matches and you run the risk of only getting back whatever the overall card is worth. Now, thankfully, a lot of good matches on this card. We have multiple 5-star matches, multiple 4 3/4 star matches. So I think that is going to be good. But it's definitely going to give you, it's that risk and reward of being an entertainment company compared to the pure company that Walter has. This is one of the few times that being a pure company really serves as an advantage. And I do wonder when Walter sees this, if he's going to realize, turns out tournaments are real good when you're a pure company. But for now, we move on. Kenneth King, one half of Poker of Pain, trying to make a name for himself here. He has spent a lot more time in singles competition than I think a lot of your tag members historically. But he is going up against a red-hot Madison Marlowe, who is off of 2 major wins against some of the better female wrestlers in the company, and just made her shot for a title match at the next pay-per-view. Do you think she's able to balance both of those needs tonight and get a win over Kenneth King? Or is she going to be distracted by her title push elsewhere?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's a hard thing to focus when you're, like, trying to grab a lot of things at once, and maybe that can pass the bill Madison Marlowe. Also, like, let's not sleep on Kenneth King. Like, he's also like a very talented wrestler. So we're gonna simulate this and see what happens.
You hit the simulate button, and Madison Marlowe, she says there's nothing to worry about, boss. This is what I do. I am the corrupted queen of the Campeonato de Luchasaur, and I am taking the victory tonight. Sorry to Kenneth King. Apologies to that man, but Madison Marlowe getting the W. And this quarter of the bracket has become very interesting. It has been all upsets all the time. And James Parker, the fearless superhero of the Campeonato de Luchasaur, is going to try to pull off another, but he is up against quite the beast here. El Cuervo, the man who injured Kyle Cage, the man who rekindled that rivalry after crushing Kyle Cage the first time around, said that the Nova Championship is his and his alone, and while he did not get the win at the last pay-per-view, he did take out the champion and gloated about it on air. It's hard for me to imagine a world in which El Cuervo doesn't take the win, but what would it take, Eduardo?
I mean, like, also there's a lot of reasons to not sleep on James Parker. Yeah, he has had like a massive like losing streak for a while, but he's also like a 4-star 100, and he's very close to hitting main event status. So I think he can reasonably make a push. Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough tonight to go against El Cuervo.
Yeah, look, against any other competitor, I'd be willing to buy into what you're selling, but El Cuervo on a 4-match loss streak, given how core he is to the narrative that started this tournament in the first place, losing in the first round would have been a tall task. But look, it's not all bad for James Parker, right? Sure, he loses, but just being in the ring against someone as good as El Cuervo gets him 21 popularity. He is now a main eventer. And if you told James Parker, hey, at the end of this tournament, you're going to be a main eventer in the Campeonato de Luchasaur, I'm pretty sure he would have said, hell yeah, mission accomplished. So, well done to him. We move on now. One of the few... this side of the bracket has a couple female matches here. Amber Manning, the former Campeonato Cuyan Championship, held it for just a month before she dropped it again. The former volleyball player wants to make her move, but she goes up against Lulu Cherry, one half of Bittersweet, who has tried to make a solos push with mixed results so far. Who do you think should have the edge in this match, Eduardo?
I think Amber Manning should have the edge. Like, she's a solo specialist. She's had a lot more time ring. She's also close to face of the company. While Lulu Cherry has just been dabbling in her Bittersweet affair. She's tried to make a push into singles, but not with much success.
That is very fair. So, is Amber Manning getting a clean win then, or am I hitting that simulate button?
No, we're hitting the Lulu Cherry button. She's gonna try to turn things around today. And we know where Amber Manning is gonna help with that.
That is a big win for Lulu Cherry. You can see the morale boost there. This means a lot to her. 4 3/4 stars, a smooth performance bonus, really going a long way here. It's a very minor loss for Amber Manning in terms of overness, nothing that she can't handle. But most importantly, this is one of the few feuds that was already here heading into the tournament. Amber Manning and Lulu Cherry have not gotten along. They have battled back and forth in the past, and Lulu Cherry getting a win here really speaks to the 50-50 any given night mentality that I think has really set the Campeonato de Luchasaur apart from all of the other competitors in this competition. So, well done on that front. But we do move on. Layla Abalos versus Allison Cruzon. We just saw what Lulu Cherry was capable of. Allison Cruzon, the other half of Bittersweet, would love nothing more than to make her mark, especially after finally getting her first singles win. But she's going up against Layla Abalos, who has famously said that she is too pretty to lose, has been a Campeonato Cuyan champion in the past, and has done some incredible work with that belt. So the question is,
I mean, tonight's a great win to show that like both like Bittersweet contenders can not just push on their tag team match, but also like as a solo combatants. So what's going to happen tonight is going to be a very interesting match. Unfortunately for Allison Cruzan, she's against a lot stronger competition in Layla Abalos. So she's going to take the W.
Well, Layla Abelos getting the win there certainly feels right to me. It's a 3 3/4 star match. Allison Cruzan obviously not thrilled by that, but something that I think makes a ton of sense. Layla is simply too pretty to lose in the first round. So I am glad that she has made her way through. We have just 2 first-round matches left, and we go now. Toru Miyamura hoping to recreate the success of his tag partner Kanade Yoshiwara, but he is up against Ryuji Sakota, who recently became the faction leader for Made in Japan. I mean, these two wrestlers are very tight. This is 15-18 seed in the standings here. Given that we have the School of the Crab, School of the Phoenix, these two longtime rival managers both in the mix here, what is it going to take for one of them to set themselves apart from the other?
Well, for starters, one of them is the faction leader for Rising Sun.
Rising Sun, excuse me. I got confused with the Stanford Wrestling Alliance. That's on me. Rising Sun. Thank you for the correction.
But secondly, it's going to be like this is like if you only had like tickets for like one match on the preliminaries, I think it will happen like for this one. Like this is going to be such a clash of styles of storylines. Once again, two pupils of Tigre de Neon and Arcángel de Fuego, and this is going to be a great one. Anyone can win, and I want to replicate that feeling by clicking the simulate button.
Yeah, this feels like such a tight match. I will let it see where we go, and let's look at that. Toru Miyamura putting another strong showing for the Hiroshima Hotties. Ryuji Sakota, obviously a tough loss, but as you said, leader of the Rising Sun. I don't think this loss says anything negative about him at all, especially given it was a hot match. It starts a feud between these two, which I cannot wait to see how you plan to play that. And again, no holy shit moment. I'm not even sure if it's possible in a non-gimmick match for an entertainment company. We're really finding that out as we dig further in, but we'll keep checking just in case. In the meantime, Toru Miyamura, congratulations on the victory. Well done there. But we move on. Our last first round match, Ametralladora Anderson, the Machine Gun, a former Campeonato Andino champion. He has sat above the rest of the league. He has done such an incredible job in the past, but having lost his title to Isamu Masucci, he is now a little vulnerable. And Hijiro Boldo, who is just 2 overness away from becoming a 4-3 in his own right, would love to play spoiler and pull off the biggest upset of this competition so far. What will it take for Hijiro to upset the masterful Ametralladora?
Well, honestly, when we're talking about Ametralladora, I was talking about a man that's on his peak. Like, yeah, he lost the championship, but he's been like hitting non-stop. He's been like on such a dominant path, and Hijiro Boldo on the other side has had a pretty big like bad luck and inconsistency when it comes to this kind of matches. This is the first time that both of these like just go into a 1v1 match with no gimmicks whatsoever, so we're gonna see how that goes.
That's very fair. Who are you giving the nod to? I think this is like the one thing that you had me pinned down in my notes, but I want to hear it from you.
Surprisingly tonight it's gonna be Hijiro Boldo's win.
Look at that, the 31 seed getting the nod. That is 1 overness, so not quite enough to become the 4-3 that he's looking for. Ametralladora Anderson, obviously a morale hit. He hates to lose against a non-main eventer, but that popularity hit's something he can absolutely take. It's a nice start to this feud. I'm sure Ametralladora, much like what we've seen with Wesley Lee Morris when he lost to Ray Sangre, this is not going to be over. But Hijiro Boldo, a very strong victory, and one that puts him in the main event picture. So that's it. You can see all of our round 1 matches have come to a close, and we have our bracket for round 2. You can see a lot of upsets along the way, especially in the back half of this bracket. But we start now in the round of 16. Haley, the greatest, as you described her, the one who won the Grand Invitational, going up against Kanade Yoshiwara, for whom that match was his first solo match. Great part of the Hiroshima Hotties. Does he have what it takes, Eduardo, to beat someone as dominant as Haley has been?
this is certainly going to be one of those like very tough matches for both sides. The Hiroshima Houthis have also been like champions, but I don't know if they've ever like fought someone as high standing as the Lunatic.
That is fair. I mean, very few people have. She is one of the highest rated, if not the highest rated wrestler in your company. Is she getting the nod, or are you leaving this up to the magical simulation button?
We're gonna leave this one to the magical simulation button and see what happens.
Haley gets the win. Just like with the Grand Invitational, hitting that button in no way stops her dominance in this competition. She rises to 8-4. And look, Kanade Yoshiwara, obviously he would have loved to win here, but there is no shame in losing to the number 1 seed in this competition. Congratulations to Haley. She will move on to the round of 8. We move on now. Jordan Amir versus Liam Draco. We talked about Liam Draco, the king of Battle Royales, a guy who has been on the rise, is now just 1 win away from hitting 500 as his record. But Jordan Amir, the Phantom Executionist, a guy who has been right on the periphery of so many titles, not quite getting that big shot for a while at least, but would love to be back in that picture. Eduardo, who's getting the nod here? Who do you think has earned the opportunity to be considered the favorite in this match? I guess let's start there before you tell me what button to hit. Who do you think should be the favorite here?
Maybe I think Jordan Amir, like these guys are both on like the very top of the company. They're both like on face of the company status road at least. But I think Jordan has been here a bit longer, and that like will give him a bit extra experience. I think though this is going to be Liam Draco's time to shine as he takes the W.
Liam Draco takes the W. Liam Draco, excuse me. I love this win for him. Both wrestlers, I mean, it's a good psychology boost. They have been feuding back and forth before this, so getting this built on is only going to help further that storyline. I love this for Liam Draco. He's done such a fantastic job in these big spots. And Jordan Amir, he's got to go back to the drawing board. He maintains his push to become a face of the company, but it is hard to see what that road is going to look like with a loss like that. He is going to have to pull himself back together in time for the pay-per-view. But we move on. XT Gun, Ed Thompson. XT Gun, the second biggest upset of the first round. This 4-4 heel who wants nothing more than to prove himself finally stopped his losing streak and has now won 2 in a row versus Ed Thompson, the cowboy that once challenged for the greatest title in the Campeonato de Luchasaur. Who do you think should be favored in this match featuring 2 upsets from the first round?
I think Ed Thompson should be the favorite. As you mentioned, he's been a Dino title contender before, and he's also had a couple more 1v1s experience.
That's certainly undeniably true. XT Gun, a lot of his matches come from being in those multi-man battle royales, right? A lot of our companies do it. The let's include everybody so no one's left off the pay-per-view. But XT Gun, this is his moment. I have to ask, which button am I clicking here?
XT Gun is gonna take this. Just going to say, take me on. Come on.
XT Gun with a second victory. And look at that hot match. Both of them getting a popularity boost. Both of them getting an overness boost. A good psychology boost from the game. And this is one, if this is not getting a holy shit moment, I don't know what will. I think this is where entertainment companies maybe meet their limitation here. But another 4 3/4 star match, an incredible showing. And look, whatever happens after this from a creativity points perspective, I mean, XT Gun has set himself up in the future to be something bright in this company. And he has got to be thrilled by how far he has gotten. But his next opponent is going to be very tough because it will be the winner of Kelly Torres, the Tower, a champion of this company at multiple times in her career here, versus Jason Cortez, the man who is trying to take La Sagrada Familia to the next step, live up to the legacies of Chakal Pro and Gabriel Rivera, both of whom took early exits in this competition. Who do you think should be favored here?
I think Kelly Torres should be favored despite everything. Like she's been on a rampage, and she only wants to win more after like the couple of losses she's taken, and she wants her title back, and she wants to show that she can be a professional anywhere.
Yeah, so title would be huge for Kelly Torres. She wants to put herself back on top in this promotion. The question is, does she pull it off here, Eduardo?
No, tonight it's going to be Jason Cortez's time to shine.
Jason Cortez gets the win. It's a 4-star match. Look, Kelly loses an overness, but she has overness to spare. There's no shame in that. A nice victory here for Jason Cortez. And that gets us such an interesting round of 8 that we're looking at. Haley versus Liam Draco and XT Gun versus Jason Cortez. Could not be different vibes heading into our quarterfinals here. But we still have 4 more matches in the round of 16 before we need to worry about that. And this one features 2 very hot performers who are trying to prove themselves in this company. Requiem Avilo, who went from having no wins to beating Adriano Cicelli multiple times, and now finally getting his first win against someone not named Adriano Cicelli, versus one Christopher Knox, the self-proclaimed emperor, the 4-4 who every time I talk to you or anyone else who loves this promotion, they talk about the skill he has, the ability that this self-proclaimed emperor can bring to this company if only he's tapped into. What should fans be expecting as far as the dynamics between these two in this match?
Well, they're both like very dynamic and aggressive heels, so they should expect like start action just from the very first second of the match. These guys are not going to let the other guy breathe.
No, the legit murderer is not going to tolerate the emperor, and the emperor is not going to tolerate the impudence of the legit murderer here. The question is, what button am I clicking here, Eduardo?
The simulate one. We're gonna leave this entirely to chance.
Christopher Knox is chosen by the RNG gods. Congratulations to the self-proclaimed emperor. Look, no shame to Requiem Avilo. I like what he's done. I like the climb you have. I love the storyline that he has brought in recently, taking Adriano Cicelli down a peg and really building on this idea of the previous feud they had. But man, I love seeing Christopher Knox do well. I love what he brings to this company, and I love seeing him pull off a W, further cement himself as a main eventer in this company. And we will see how far it can take him in this competition, because it is a tough opponent that he will face regardless of the winner here. We've talked about Madison Marlowe, the damage that she has brought to the women's division. Such a strong competitor, having really proven herself recently, hit a stride that she had not shown before. But it's El Cuervo, the man who slew Kyle Cage, the man who says that this belt should have been handed to him, that it's an insult that he should have to be in this tournament in the first place. So the question is, what would it take for Madison Marlowe to stop the Raven and secure a W tonight?
I mean, like, she will need to channel all of her corruption. Like, don't get me wrong, Madison Marlowe is great, and she's a fantastic wrestler, but Cuervo's, like, furious that he doesn't have the championship right here, right now, and he's gonna be taking it out on any opponent he faces.
Absolutely. Does El Cuervo get the win here, or do you have something else in mind?
Cuervo takes the W.
El Cuervo with the win. And this is one of those, again, a match that helps everybody, right? Madison Marlowe on the climb. Sure, she loses here, but losing to El Cuervo is nothing to be ashamed of. It's a hot match. You see the overness boost she gets here. You see the popularity boost both of them provide each other. A really nice match. The fact that there was no feud and they still put on a hot match just speaks to the talent of these two competitors. And El Cuervo continues his march in the new Omnissiah Valiant Ascendance tournament. We move on now. Just 2 matches left in this round of 16. Lulu Cherry versus Layla Abelos. We know what Lulu Cherry has done with Bittersweet, but we know her journey as a singles competitor has had some ups and downs. Her last match, certainly an up, but against Layla Abelos, who is too pretty to lose. She's got a tougher challenge than perhaps she has ever faced in singles competition before. What would it take for Lulu Cherry to pull off the upset here?
Nothing short of a miracle, to be honest. Like, don't get me wrong, Lulu Cherry is great, but Layla Avalos is too pretty and too on the way to win. Like, yeah, but essentially that. Like, as much as I love Lulu Cherry, she's like without class in this match at this moment in time.
So that's a Layla Avalos win. I'm safe to click that button?
Yeah, it's a Layla Avalos win.
There we go. 4.5 stars. It's another hot match, right? This is exactly the kind of match the fans are looking for. Layla Avalos bringing out the best in Lulu Cherry. Lulu Cherry now hits the 900 mark. There is no threshold at 900, but it certainly puts you in the top half of the main eventers. And Lulu Cherry, she goes down swinging, but she goes down looking as strong as she can against such a tough competitor in Layla Avalos. No surprise to me that Layla Avalos has put in such a strong showing so far, but Lulu Cherry, there is nothing to be ashamed of in losing to a competitor like Layla. We move on. Our last match of the round of 16. Hijiro Boldo, now a main eventer, one overness away from becoming a 4-3. The upside for him is huge, but he goes up against Toru Miyamura, one of the two Hiroshima hotties, who has won his first singles match and would love to win his second, given the pure charisma and talent he has on display. Who do you think should have the edge here? Because usually you would point to the 4-4 Toru Miyamura, but ultimately he has not had the same singles experience that Hijiro has had, even if Hijiro has mostly lost. What do you see the dynamic of this match turning into?
Honestly, I still think like Toru Miyamura has the upper hand. Like, yeah, he doesn't have as many like wins as single competitors, but come on, he's part of the Hiroshima Hobbies and he has been a multiple times tag champion. Also, he has a lot of like in-ring abilities and synergy that he's gonna like to try to demonstrate tonight.
That is very fair. So, does that mean I'm clicking that button, or do you have something else in mind?
No, tonight's going to be another upset. We're gonna have Hijiro Boldo take the win.
Hijiro Boldo gets the win. It's a hot match, and that is going to get him to his overness spot. That is a 4-3 moving forward. A huge win for Hijiro Boldo. The 31 seed making it all the way to the round of 8. We have seen 3 different competitors pull off some crazy runs so far in the quarterfinals. But that's just it, folks. The quarterfinals here are the last matches we are going to see on tonight's show. The semifinals and finals will both take place at the pay-per-view. So this is determining who is going to be in those matches and who is going to have to find a new way to get themselves on the card for this next pay-per-view. And it starts here. Haley, the lunatic, the greatest, the TGI champion. She has many nicknames and she's earned them all. Versus Liam Draco, excuse me. I love both pronunciations of his last name, to be quite honest with you. But he is the Battle Royale champion, the fighter who never gives up, never lets down. I mean, outside of this being a guaranteed banger, what should fans expect from this match?
Honestly, just like so much action for tonight. There's not like even anything else to have. Like, this is going to be like potentially like as close to a final as we're gonna get before going to the final.
Absolutely. I mean, these are two incredible competitors. Either one of them would be great champions to have to replace the unfortunately injured Kyle Cage. What's the button I'm clicking here, Eduardo?
Liam Draco.
Liam Draco gets the win. It's a 5-star match. Haley, she'll take a little bit of an overness hit, but she's going to be just fine in the long run. That is a huge 5-star match here. Congratulations to Liam Draco. What a strong performance he has shown, and he has secured one of the 4 semifinal spots that will fight at the pay-per-view. But he's going to have a very interesting opponent. XT Gun, the underdog, who has won 3 matches in a row, 2 of which were part of this tournament. He said, take me on, put me in, coach. And he has made the most of the opportunity. But Jason Cortez, with La Sagrada Familia's last hope, the man who, with the School of the Phoenix behind him, desperately wants to get the win and show everyone why he has earned the nickname The Punisher. What do you think fans can expect from this match?
Honestly, fans can expect like everything, you know, like there's not like a guaranteed thing that can happen tonight. Like Stigan and Jason Cortez are both on very strong runs, and we're gonna reward them both with an equal chance to win with the simulate button.
Yeah, I mean, look, when you have a big match specialist, gifted acrobat like XT Gun, and a bleeding risk taker like Jason Cortez, I think the simulate button makes the most sense to me. And XT Gun, the 29 seed, moves on to the semifinals. I don't think anyone saw this coming, folks. We have randomed that button enough that even Eduardo couldn't have seen that one coming. But he has been banger after banger after banger. And I'm just looking at all those positive buffs, right? Maybe you're not getting holy shit moments because as a entertainment company without a gimmick, that just doesn't seem to be a thing that is possible. But look at how many of these matches are strong. Look at how much the fans are invested. We have had so many good performances, and it has done so much for the quality of each of these wrestlers, right? So many wrestlers making themselves known, putting themselves front and center on such a big stage in such a big moment. And XT Gun, I mean, he has a lot to be proud of tonight. But we move on. Christopher Knox, the self-proclaimed emperor, taking a win against Davey Airborne, turning it into 2 straight wins in this tournament. But he runs into El Cuervo, the Raven that has been such a deadly force within this competition, who only the brightness and power of the supernova himself has been able to put down with any level of consistency. What would it take for the self-proclaimed emperor to get a win against El Cuervo here?
So Christopher Knox, I mean, he's been on a rampage tonight, but unfortunately, as I mentioned, the curve was also on another kind of rampage. It's going to be like very, very hard for him to even consider dropping this match. So I think wishing Christopher Knox all the best, but it does not seem like the thirst of blood that El Cuervo has been associated in the slightest.
That's very fair. Am I hitting the El Cuervo button here?
Yeah, we're hitting the El Cuervo button here.
Yeah, this is the one guy it feels like it's necessary that he fights his way on in this tournament. Christopher Knox, nothing to be ashamed of. An incredible performance across the board for him. To get this far says a lot about what he's capable of. I wish him the best moving forward. I hope he's able to carry that momentum. But right here, right now, El Cuervo is not to be denied. We have one more match tonight, Eduardo. It is our last quarterfinals match between Layla Abelos, too pretty to lose, versus Hijiro Boldo, too cool to fall before this pivotal match here. Too pretty versus too cool is a tough battle in and of itself, but Hijiro Boldo, as the 31 seed, I don't think anyone expected him to get this far. What would it take for him to continue this miracle run against the former champion Layla?
I mean, honestly, it will take like a lot, but also like Hijiro Boldo has been shown and proven tonight that he's like someone that can do a lot, and we may have been sleeping on him like all this time. So I don't know. This is honestly going to be like a very interesting match to follow, and I'm gonna reward it with a simulate button.
The simulate button to close out this card, and Layla Abelos gets the win. Not to the surprise of no one who has been a Layla Abelos fan for this long. Hijiro Boldo, plenty to be proud of. That is not a loss that he needs to worry about in the slightest. But it is a big win for Layla, and that confirms our semifinals. It's going to be Liam Draco versus XT Gun and El Cuervo versus Layla Abelos at the pay-per-view. And you get 80 creativity points back with a 4.75 star tournament. Eduardo, how are you feeling in the aftermath of this event?
Well, I want at least 100 creativity points back, but I'm gonna take whatever I can get. So
That's very fair. I mean, honestly, I think we all learned that it's just impossible for an entertainment company to get a holy shit moment in a standard match. That was always something we were a little bit afraid of, but we now have confirmation of it. Good to know in the future. But for now, I think certainly what you have built should be a lot of fun. Do you want to just say real quick as we close out here what fans can expect from the next pay-per-view beyond these 3 incredible matches between Liam Draco, XT Gun, then El Cuervo versus Layla Abelos, and the 2 of those winners going up in the finals to become the new Nova champion?
like fans are expecting even more than that. Like, man, we have some big fans tonight, but they're gonna have total non-stop action, as I often like to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are plenty of other
Also, yeah, we have like a lot of belts going on. We're gonna see a lot of fun storylines that I will not spoil, but if you follow Campeonato Lucha Sur, you know what's going on behind the scenes. And also, we're gonna finally figure out who's the new Omnissiah. So, and this has been indeed a Valiant Ascendance.
Absolutely. I had a lot of fun with this. I hope that y'all watching at home did too. If you enjoy it, please make sure that you are following twitch.tv/RedshirtKing. Make sure you're there for the stream at 6 p.m. Pacific time on Thursday, April 4th. I cannot wait to show y'all everything we have in mind for this company. It's going to be a great silver pay-per-view. So many fun competitors pushing for their all. And we'll close, I believe, with the end-of-year awards. So a chance for some people to earn some more points in a pivotal time in this competition. You can find me at Chase Wassenaar at bsky.social or at Chase Wassenaar on Twitter if you insist. Follow the podcast that we do under the Rough Drafts branding at Rough Drafts Pod on Twitter and roughdraftspodcast.bsky.social. Eduardo, where can the nice folks at home find you?
Mostly on Instagram. Is2GradB. I think that's a bit of a mouthful, but you can just search my name. I'm sure we can like drop it somewhere. And yeah, it's going to be a very like fun thing to find. This has been a blast of a tournament, and we have seen like some. I would like to say some new rises that were like a bit under the covers of the Campeonato Lucha Sur, and they have managed to prove their worth even if they didn't reach the semifinals.
Absolutely. It's been a very fun tournament, many different ups and downs. I don't think anyone saw these 4 competitors making it all the way to the end. Maybe El Cuervo. He was the one I think you could safely bet on, but everything else has been quite the ride. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye, Internet.